It's 2024, and golf has never been more fractured than now. The latest controversy that's dividing the community has social media riled up. But hold on, it's not just fans picking sides. The sport's heavyweights are throwing their opinions into the ring. What's causing the uproar, you ask? Brace yourself for the debate of the decade, the hot topic of whether LIV players should face penalties for joining the prestigious PGA Tour. Curious? Stay as we unravel the behind-the-scenes drama and get to the bottom of this golfing conundrum. Welcome to the Golf Caddy, where we take you inside the ropes into the world of golf. But before we spill the beans on the latest golf shakeups, we're turning the mic to you. What are your 2 cents on the debate about LIV players potentially facing penalties to join the PGA Tour? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Believe it or not, making a return to the tour isn't as simple as it sounds, especially with players like Rory McIlroy and 𝗚𝗍𝗍𝗆𝗆 having different takes on allowing the pros to make a return to the 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗆𝗆-led tour. Since June 2023, when the PGA Tour and LIV Golf signed a framework agreement, the biggest question everyone had was, what will unity look like? Here's the kicker. No one knows how this agreement will pan out, and it's even more up in the air now that the PGA Tour scored a cool $3 billion investment from the Strategic Sports Group. And it looks like the latest developments have got Rory McIlroy singing a different tune on the LIV Golfers returning to the PGA Tour scene. The 4-time major champion, who was once a vocal critic of the breakaway tour, has shifted gears, saying that players should be able to make a comeback without facing consequences. Initially, McIlroy didn't mince words, calling out those who joined the breakaway tour as traitors, and even suggesting that he'd rather retire than be part of the Saudi-backed circuit that caused quite a stir in 2022. Fast forward to today, with ongoing talks about a potential merger between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf, plus McIlroy's Ryder Cup teammates Jon Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton making the jump to LIV, the 34-year-old has softened his stance, emphasizing that life is about choices and that punishing players isn't the way to go. Thinking it over, McIlroy is saying, why punish people? He's not into the whole consequence thing. According to him, if players still qualify and want to make a comeback and try something new, just let them. It's all about giving folks a chance. This mirrors McIlroy's view on how golf is changing, and he's all about keeping a friendly vibe between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf. But not everybody shares his opinion. Take Justin Thomas, for instance. He's got a completely different stance. Thomas thinks some players from LIV could bring a new spark to the PGA Tour, making things even more exciting. Yet he's not jumping on board with the idea that they should breeze back in without a hitch. In Thomas's view, it's not that simple. He mentioned there might be a chance down the road for some of these players to return, but the details are still fuzzy. Navigating the whole LIV Golf versus PGA Tour showdown is trickier than drawing up a global tour. It's like trying to untangle a messy golf yarn. Now throw in the fact that plenty of LIV players scored big bucks from the Saudi League or PIF. Some even took the tour to court, while others threw shade at PGA Tours and higher-ups. Drama alert! But he's also raised some valid concerns, like the fact that whoever chose the PGA Tour stuck to their principles, made sacrifices, and stayed true to their beliefs. It's challenging to accept the return of players for them, even with the positive changes happening. On the other side of the fairway, Rory McIlroy offered a different perspective. He adjusted his viewpoint mainly because he saw the current state of golf. A weakened PGA Tour and any other diminished tours wouldn't be good for anyone. It's much better to unite and move forward for the sake of the game. But even that isn't convincing Jordan Spieth. Spieth's take came the day the PGA Tour announced a partnership with the strategic sports group SSG. The SSG is a massive group of American professional sports owners, all of whom have decided to invest up to $3 billion into PGA Tour enterprises. Jordan was very clear when he went on record to say that he doesn't think an agreement with PIF is needed. His comments were harsh enough to warrant a call from McIlroy. Rory had a pretty frank discussion with the 2-time major champion on a phone call, and since Spieth replaced McIlroy on the PGA Tour policy board after the Northern Irishman stepped down, this conversation was long overdue. McIlroy understood what Spieth was saying, but his concern was that if he were PIF and heard those comments the day after doing this SSG deal, it wouldn't have made him too happy. But while I'm on the topic of golfers getting emotional over this debate, even Jon Rahm poured his heart out about missing the PGA Tour's WM Phoenix Open close to his home in Arizona. He's currently caught up in the LIV Golf action in Las Vegas, feeling the emotional tug of not being part of this local event. As a Masters champion and part of the LIV Golf crew, Rahm, along with his mates, can't play in PGA Tour events right now. But he's holding on to hope and says that he wants to be back playing those events soon, even if it's just an invitation. Certain events mean a lot to him, and he wants to be there to support them. Joining LIV Golf brought Rahm a massive paycheck, reportedly over $300 million, but it came at a cost, missing out on big PGA Tour moments and the Ryder Cup for European-born players. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you have former Open champion Cam Smith, who isn't looking back at the PGA Tour even if LIV Golf stars get the green light to return. Former number 2 Smith is happily embracing his new, more relaxed schedule with the Saudi-backed league and has no plans to make a comeback to his old tour. And it's all because he doesn't want to play more tournaments. This decision might surprise some, given that Smith was recognized as one of the best players on the planet during his time with the US-based PGA Tour. But if he ever has a change of heart, one of LIV's critics, Rory McIlroy, has hinted that Smith would be welcomed back with open arms. If that does happen, though, Smith would find himself face-to-face with the current world number 1, who has his own opinions of the Saudi circuit players. Although he claimed to have no bad blood with them, 𝗚𝗍𝗍𝗆 did say that they shouldn't return as if nothing ever happened. According to him, the players did kind of leave. There should be a pathway back for them, but they definitely shouldn't be able to come back without any sort of contribution to the tour. Essentially, he's talking about slapping the players with a fine for choosing the Saudi-backed league, and he isn't the only one with that opinion. Rickie Fowler also shares the same views as 𝗚𝗍𝗍𝗆. At the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am tournament, Fowler spoke about the LIV golfers in his interaction with the press. He said there should not be a direct road for the Saudi circuit players if they wish to be back on the tour. Fowler said that they made this decision and shouldn't be allowed to just waltz back in scot-free. But what should that condition be? Should LIV players be punished for failing to stay loyal to the PGA Tour? Or, as Rory McIlroy claimed, should the PGA Tour let them back without punishment? Randall Chambly thinks he has the solution. The Golf Channel analyst, known for his strong opposition to Saudi money in golf, has outlined a potential scenario for allowing LIV players back into the golfing fold if unity is restored in the sport. In his view, these players should undergo a period of suspension, pay fines, and upon their return, exclusively participate in non-signature events for a duration equal to the time they spent in the LIV series. The debate on handing out penalties is a tricky one. While the DP World Tour has a system for it, it's still up in the air whether the PGA Tour will follow suit or take a different route. The golf world sure knows how to keep us on our toes with all these twists. And as we navigate through these turns of golf's latest chapters, do you think the defectors should be allowed to make a U-turn? And will Chambly's idea for penalties actually work? Let us know in the comments section below. It's safe to say that as we ride this golf roller coaster, no one knows what's next. And that's what makes us love this sport even more. Ready for more golfing buzz? Hit that like button and subscribe for your front row seat to the action. Until next time.